You are what you give your attention to. So today I'm going to be talking about where my attention is going and some of the challenges I'm facing right now. What I find to be clear surrounding me and what I'm doing. What I need to be stabilizing before I add things on in the future. And one of the time limits I have for my goals. So, some of the things I'm giving my attention to and what I'm focusing on right now is copywriting. I am trying my best to do copywriting practice. So copywriting is written sales. So like email marketing, something like that. And so I'm doing practice every day to write one email, and then I'll take it to AI to give me feedback on what I need to improve. And then I'll go back and fix it myself, try to nitpick everything and make it as good as possible. And I do that every day to try to hone that skill and make it as good as possible. I'm also trying to internalize information. So at school, I pay attention, I take notes, and then I practice it until I can be able to do it on a whim. Like I give me a question, I'll be able to do it if I learned it and I have internalized it. And I also do that for my ventures. So I read a lot of books, I watch a lot of podcasts and videos, and I try to take notes and I try to apply it as quickly as I can to my ventures or to my personal self. And I'm also trying to reprogram my subconscious mind. And so something that Brian Tracy, he's a motivational speaker from the 1900s, something that he taught was to repeat the phrase, do it now, do it now, do it now. And so every morning I immediately drop to the ground and I do 35 push-ups and I add 5 weekly or every other week. And this is to wake my mind up, but also I repeat in my mind and out loud the phrase, do it now. Brian Tracy explained that repeating the phrase, do it now, creates a sense of urgency. And I've also learned from other experts and professionals that your mind is most susceptible to change as soon as you wake up and right before you go to bed. So as I wake up every single day and I repeat the phrase, do it now, do it now, do it now, I create a sense of urgency in myself and for my ventures, for my growth, and for doing the things that are important. And I'm also working on developing greater consistency and in turn momentum. So I'm developing consistency by following my non-negotiables I have every day. I explained it in one of my past videos, what non-negotiables are. And so I do those daily. I journal daily, I work out daily, I do copywriting practice daily. I do things like that daily. And this builds up discipline because every day that I show up, it proves to myself that I can continue doing it. And as that progress stacks, it shows that I can do it, and it gives me more of a push to do it in the future. And that's what momentum is. And momentum is different from motivation because motivation is a feeling, and that feeling comes and goes, just like all feelings do. And it's very unreliable. And I try my best not to rely on motivation, and I try my best to rely on discipline. And I'm also trying to better hone my skills. So I am trying to hone my skills through my non-negotiables. My non-negotiables are planned out to help me maximize all of my input out into the best output that can be. So, like I mentioned with the daily copywriting practice, I'm honing that skill to as best as I can. And then also I practice cello every day. So as soon as I get home, I'll have a quick snack to get rid of the feeling of hunger because that makes me antsy and not want to do things as much. So I get rid of my hunger and then I immediately play cello for an hour. And as I play cello, I notice that I become more focused, my mind clears, and it's a transition period kind of almost from the school day into the evening. It's this little period that switches my mind from, oh, I'm tired, I just want to relax, to I'm ready to take on the evening and spend my few hours at home that I have before I go to bed doing what I need to do. Some of the things that are clear to me right now is that I'm developing the skills and traits of the successful. So I've also had some of these traits since I was very young, like stubbornness, whenever I set my mind on doing something, I will do it no matter what. You'd have to literally strap me down on the floor and like prevent me from doing something after I've set my mind out to actually stop me. I'm developing, and I have developed a long horizon thinking. So I do my best to plan and execute on things that will help me in a decade or 2 decades. So like right now with YouTube, I have started YouTube to leave a paper trail of my growth and who I am, leading me up to the future. And it's also a form of long-term leverage. So as I've started now at 16 years old, whenever I'm like in my 20s, in my 30s, as I continue to record and post YouTube videos, it shows that I'm dedicated to what I do. And as I continue to progress, and it'll show that I am consistent with my goals, and when I promise to do something, I will do it. And that's one of the reasons I have this channel, to show I am reliable, and I do, and I am good on my word. And I am also developing a slight bit of obsession. So I read tons of books. I'm constantly consuming and internalizing information for self-growth, for business, for my faith. And this is like just like surrounding my brain in like a cushion of who I'm trying to become. I'm trying to become the best man I can be. I'm trying to become someone that's worthy for my future wife. I'm becoming someone that I know I can become, because I've seen glimpses of who I will be in the future. And I'm trying to build up to that kind of person, and that involves a bit of obsession. And so my progress continues to grow because of the 1% improvement each day. I always try to do at least the bare minimum. No matter what, I will continue to progress, and I will become who I'm going to become, doing the things I know I can do. And also, I am developing consistency. And I do consistency through simple things like non-negotiables. I love non-negotiables. I'll always keep coming back to them. It's a simple framework to do what you need to do every day to continue to grow. Some of the things that I am choosing to ignore are things like cheap dopamine. And what I mean by that is like scrolling on social media, watching TV, without the intent to take something away and immediately apply it to your life. And I also call this like productive procrastination. So like some things that I used to do is I would read a book, like a self-improvement book, but I would just read it. I wouldn't actually apply anything. So it would just be dopamine, like, oh, that's awesome. I read this, like, oh, it's magically going to happen to me. No, I didn't apply it, and so it didn't happen to me. So productive procrastination. I consumed information, but I did nothing with it, so it did nothing. Got me nowhere. I was just procrastinating my future self. And other things, trends. I don't like trends because it means I'm going along with the 99%, and the 99% that usually leads to mediocrity, and I'm aiming for exceptionality. Also, gossip. Gossip is a prime area for negative talk and negative situations. And in my experience, listening to other people gossip, it's usually smack talk about other people. Talking about, oh, this person did that, they did that. And why do they do this? They're so dumb, they're so stupid. And I just surrounding myself with negative things I do not enjoy. And it lowers my productivity, my focus, and my well-being. So I try to get myself as far away from gossip as possible. And then flings. Relationship just for the sake of being in a relationship. I think that's a dumb idea, honestly. Like, why would you not go into a relationship without having the intent to be with that person for a long time and like get something out of it? I personally try to go into any relationship thinking long term, what can I do with this person that profits me and profits them? It's got to be a two-way street of trust. Something else I'm trying to avoid is processed foods and processed sugars. I want to preserve my health for as long as possible, and that means eating healthy, working out, drinking enough water, and I drink a half gallon of water a day, going to sleep at the same time, waking up at the same time, and getting an optimal amount of sleep for your age. Yeah, just maintaining health, I think I value very highly. And as a byproduct, it has improved my focus, improved my productivity, and my output like tremendously. And one of the other things I'm trying to avoid is unhealthy relationships. So a lot of the people I know are school friends, and a large majority of them, they spend time on social media like a lot. Some of my friends have like 7-hour daily screen time averages, which is kind of insane, especially since phones are banned in school right now. And that just shows me that they're wasting a lot of their time. And I value using time efficiently and in a productive manner. And so it creates a sense of disconnect between me and my peers at school. And the people that I know that waste their time a lot, they don't have as many, they don't outwardly express as much positivity as they should, or as they could. And it creates a lot of tension sometimes, and it creates a negative environment sometimes. And as you might have been able to tell already, I don't like being in negative environments, so that definitely does create a sense of disconnect between some of the people I am around at school. And so that's one of the reasons why it's so hard to find like-minded people. So for me, I have me and my cousin, one of my cousins, we're like on the exact same wavelength. We have like some of the exact same goals. We do some of the same things. We both have non-negotiables, and we do like a weekly check-in to keep ourselves accountable and to continue to grow. And then I have two friends at school that I deeply enjoy their presence. Like, they help me to question certain things, like, oh, why is that like that? Like, that's crazy. And they, one of them is like a business friend. Like, he is also business-minded like me. And so we talk about business and like optimizing things. We have great discussions like that, and he's a wonderful friend. And my other friend, he's like deeply into technology and stuff like that, and also like racing sports, which is something I'm also interested in. And we talk about cars and stuff all the time. We talk about computers and stuff and tech. And since that's something I plan to go into in the future, I view that as a highly important and valuable relationship. Another thing that's difficult is balancing between school, business, growth, and faith. So school takes up 8 hours of my day. And of course, I do try my best to do all my homework in school, and I've been consistently getting better at that, and I take almost no work home. But still, it takes up 8 hours of my day. And that gives me about 5 hours at home after school before I go to bed to do everything else, like my non-negotiables and everything like that. And then for business, it's part of my non-negotiables, but that I only really have an hour set apart for it, or like an hour and a half set apart for it, because I have other things I have to do, like my other non-negotiables, I have to do those too. So I have to manage my time, and that only gives me so much time to do business. Of course, in the summer, that's different, but right now it's the school year, and that's what I have to deal with. And then growth I can do always. Like, school is a perfect testing ground for growth and applying certain principles, like in communication and stuff like that. And so growth I can really do anywhere, but the main growth I develop happens at home. Like being able to sit down for a long period of time, like quietly doing work. Because at school, you always have like a bud next to you, and you can like laugh or joke and get distracted from like being taught a lesson from your teacher, doing work that you could be doing. And then faith. I have church every Sunday. I have youth classes after church as well. That, yeah. And then I also have Wednesday youth activities every week. So on Wednesdays, I have like 3 hours instead of 5 to do my non-negotiables. And I don't complain at all, because I know faith to me at least is a very important thing to have, because it gives a greater sense of purpose and direction in life. And it's kind of where I got this whole idea of like growing at all. My faith, a lot of it is on growth and being like compassionate to other people, like a lot of faiths are. And so as I started getting into like the business kind of side of the internet and whatnot, before I like tried to distance from the internet and start doing things like on paper and in the real world, yeah, it just helped me. It just like awoke that I need to be growing more and trying to optimize to be the best person I can be. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I value faith so much, is because it's been one of the founding principles for my growth right now, and the growth I will be keeping and improving in the future as well. And it's also hard for me to not get distracted sometimes, because I do all my homework in school. So when I get home, I'm sometimes really drained, and sometimes I'll go and watch TV. And I do not want to be watching TV, because I think that doesn't really give me anything in return. It's just my eyes glued to screen, and I'm living someone else's life. Of course, it's an actor acting out a character, but still, you're living out someone else's life, just watching them do something when you could be doing something. And so I would rather read a book or do something like that. Read a book, draw, listen to a podcast or something like that, go on a walk. But sometimes I just flop on the couch and I just grab the remote and turn it on. And I turn on the TV and watch a show. Of course, that is not a horrible, like horrendous thing at all. It is absolutely beneficial to like take a day off sometimes and to like rest and recuperate for like the next week or something. But I just think there are more optimal ways to reset and relax. And some of the things that I need to stabilize before I continue adding on more things and increasing my bandwidth of things I have to do is I need to increase and improve my focus. So I'm already working on this right now. I'm trying to sit down for longer periods of time. I'm focusing on like one task at a time for longer periods of time. And so my focus is increasing because of that. Also, getting enough sleep and eating the right foods and drinking enough water. It keeps my body like replenished and able to do things at a longer extent of time. So that increases my focus. And so I think my focus will continue to increase and improve. And then I also need to stabilize my consistency in copywriting practice. Short term for it is copy. And the reason for that is because soon I will be having clients and they need someone they can depend on to do copy for them. And so I need to become the kind of person that can do copy just like whenever. Like I can just sit down and instantly be ready to do copy for like an hour or 2 hours at a time. And that will help me to grow, and that'll help my clients to get what they need. And that will ultimately give me money, I guess, to help fund future ventures and to help me to continue to optimize my life more, like getting a better mattress for better sleep, getting an actual phone stand instead of having a stack of books right in front of me to hold on my phone. And yeah. Also, stabilizing more healthy relationships. So I have those 3 relationships I mentioned earlier, and those are good. I don't have to worry about them at all because, yeah. What I need to mainly focus on is my relationship with my other peers at school. Like all my school friends, I don't think I'm a cold person to them. I just think I don't interact as much as I could with them in like a warm and inviting way. I have been lately talking to some of my school friends like one on one. I've had like opportunities to just like sit with them and just talk with them one on one, and I've been able to lead conversations like that are future oriented. Like, what are you gonna do with your life? Like, what do you plan to do? Where are you planning to go? And I've been able to lead conversations like that, and it's surprising to see what people want to do, what they want to achieve, where they want to go, who they want to be, and all it takes is just to ask a question, just a couple questions, and you can learn so much about a person. And another thing I need to work on is my responses in situations where I don't want to react. So as I mentioned before, a lot of my peers at school, they are basically chronically online, and so they're always making like some sort of online brain rot kind of joke or something like that. And that happens often, and I personally don't enjoy those kinds of that kind of humor, like online humor, like brain rot and stuff like that, brain rot humor. And so sometimes it's just so bizarre, I just burst out laughing. And I'm always just like, why am I laughing at this? Why am I giving my attention to something that is just been created to be a profit from attention? And that's the majority of what I wanted to cover today. And I want to end off by publicly stating that, so I can have like a little bit of pressure on myself to do this, is to start my outreach for copywriting on March 1st. That gives me a little bit less than a month, like this month, and then I go and I start outreach. So I will be sending out like 20 DMs a day to business people, businesses, entrepreneurs, creators, and I'll be sending out 20 DMs a day, trying to hopefully get 5 retainer clients that like keep like hiring me to do work for them. So that might take a while, but my goal is to, no matter how prepared or unprepared I feel, I'm going to start outreach. I'm going to actually go out there and try to gain experience, because the best way of learning is doing. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next one. Peace.